you action figure enthusiasts out there, JC here with another T&I toy review. And today's review is in association with MarvelousNews.com, your #1 news source for everything Marvel. And for today's review, I'm going to be taking a look at the brand new Marvel Legends 6-inch Cowboy Logan / Wolverine figure from Hasbro. Now this figure comes packaged in the same style that we see with all the Marvel Legends. You've got the black box with the Legend Series logo up at the top. In the top right corner you do have the Marvel 80 years anniversary logo because this figure is part of that subline. The figure is clearly displayed in the window box packaging, and then you've got the Wolverine name down below. On the sides of the packaging you've got some artwork for Cowboy Logan, and then on the back of the packaging you've got a look at the actual figure and a brief bio in multiple languages. Alright, let's get this open and take a look at what's inside. Okay, so here's a look at the figure outside the packaging along with the other contents. Now there's really not much new with this figure that we haven't seen before. The only thing new is this head sculpt that's attached to the figure with the cowboy hat, and we'll take a closer look at that in a moment. But for actual accessories, you get a pair of clawed hands like we always see with the Wolverine figures, and then a pair of just normal grip hands without the claws. Now there's no indication of any kind of claws popping out with these hands. They're just normal grip hands. And then you get this sword. We've seen this sword in the Marvel Legend line most recently, I believe, with the Patch figure. It has a red blade, a red plastic blade, and I'm not sure why it's red. And then it's got a dark maroon handle. You've got the same kind of sculpting detail with the grips and everything. So again, we've seen this accessory before. And then finally you get the second Wolverine head sculpt without the cowboy hat, and this is a reuse of the one that came with the Patch figure. As you can see, this is the Patch figure. It does have the little netting over the eyes, so they remove that. Otherwise it's the same head sculpt you do. Also, it doesn't have the blue wash in the hair like with the Patch figure, and the skin tone is a little bit darker, but it is the same head sculpt. So again, not anything that we haven't seen before. And the claws on this new figure are the same that we've seen before. They're just done with a gray plastic, and of course if you want to remove them, they do pop out, and you can have just 1, 2, or all 3 on there, or you can take all 3 out, though you do get the holes on the fist when you take the claws out. The body is just a reuse of the one that came with the motorcycle, only it's been repainted. The wife beater shirt is now black. The jeans are a little bit lighter color. The belt on this new figure is black as opposed to brown, and the buckle is a little bit different color of gold. And then for the boots, you've got black boots as opposed to the brown boots. But the figure itself is exactly the same. It's the exact same sculpt. They did add a little bit of extra hair. They painted some extra hair here on his chest just above his shirt. That was not on the Wolverine figure that came with the bike. And overall, I think it looks pretty good. The cowboy hat is not removable, and I like how they've sculpted the hair. The hat is made with a rubber type material, and he's got the all black hair and the chops and everything. I like the facial expression with this head sculpt, so I think they've done a pretty good job with this. But again, this is really the only thing new on this figure. Everything else is a reissue, just repainted or what have you. And if you want an alternate look for your Cowboy Logan, you might take the old man Logan body and stick this Cowboy Logan head sculpt on it. It does fit. It's a little bit of a tight fit. You might even want to take a hairdryer and loosen up the plastic, but you can get it on there, and I actually think it looks pretty good. And of course, if you want Screaming Logan without the netting on the eyes for your Patch figure, the alternate head sculpt for this new one does fit on that Patch body. Now this figure stands, if you count to the top of his cowboy hat, about 6 1/4 inches tall. And just real quick, here's a comparison of a bunch of different modern Wolverine figures that Hasbro's released for the Marvel Legend line. So for articulation, it's exactly the same as the one that came with the bike, but I'll go over it real quick. You can turn the head to the left and to the right, and he can look down really good, and then he can look back pretty good as well. You do not get any head pivot with this one. With the arms, you can get the arm out pretty good there at the shoulder, and then you've got good rotation there at the shoulder. You've got a bicep swivel. You've got a double jointed elbow, so he can bend his elbow that much. You've got rotation with the hands, and then you have the hinges, so you've got good back and forth movement. Like with the bike figure, you've got the hair down the arms, which is just painted on there, and you also on the shirt you have some nice texturing. And then he has an ab crunch joint, so he can crunch forward pretty good, and then he can look back about that much there at the midsection, and he's got a waist swivel, With the legs, he can only do the splits that much, and then you can get the leg forward pretty good. It's kind of out and forward, but he does get it up high. And then with the back movement, again, you can do it out and back. You've got a thigh swivel, you've got double jointed knees, so good bending there at the knees. And then with the feet, you do have the hinge joint, so you've got some up and down movement, and you do have ankle pivot. And then 2 peg holes on the bottom of the feet. So that's my review. So there's really not much new here, but that's pretty much common practice with these single packed 80th anniversary figures that Hasbro's doing. You know, the only thing new with this figure is the Cowboy Hat head sculpt, but I do like that. I think it looks pretty good. It is kind of an iconic look for the character. I also like the head sculpt on the Old Man Logan body, and I think this figure will work well with the bike if you got the Wolverine and bike set. Now this figure has started to see a release at places like GameStop, but should be available online at any place that sells Marvel Legends. We'll have a full image gallery up at marvelousnews.com. There'll be a link in the video description below. As always, leave a comment. Let me know what you think. If you're so inclined, like the video, subscribe to the channel, and hit that bell notification so you're alerted every time I upload a new video. And of course, you can also follow me on my Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram accounts. I have links to those in the video description as well. And until next time, guys, I'll catch you later.